Hey, this is LaQuia. It's pronounced LaQuia from the Unapologetically Queer podcast. And if you have been enjoying what you've been listening to and or hearing, why don't you go ahead and give us a like, a comment, or just leave a voicemail and give us feedback on what you would like to listen to, what you would like to hear, or things that you would like to share yourself. You can also email us at unapologeticallyaware@mail.com, where we'll be able to view our fans, our appreciation, and our friends, our family is what we call it. We will be more than excited to hear from you. Also, if you have not, visit our website at unapologeticallyaware.godaddysites.com, where we have everything for the LGBT plus community, what we call the community, where we communicate to unify and unity one another. Again, I do thank you for listening to the podcast. My name is LaQueer, and let's get on with the show.
Be you unapologetically.
It's pronounced LaQueer. Hey, welcome you guys, gals, and all of the above. Happy New Year's, or whatever that's supposed to mean. I know most of us have dedicated our time to New Year's resolutions that we're going to break, and not all of us. Some of us stick to them, but yeah, that part. Now, for me and myself, what did I do for New Year's? Pretty much nothing. I guess the order that you get, the thing that you welcome in the most is who you are with. Now, I had this thing where I wanted to ring in the new year with my mate, and I wanted to be out and have a party, and I just noticed the reel that was playing in my head was a reel that you see on TV. You see how they depict what Christmas is and what Halloween is and what New Year's is, and everybody's out happy, surrounded by people. They break up, they make up, they fall in love, get back together, all that stuff. And I had to compartmentalize myself and say, that's not something that I really want. It's something that has been programmed into my psyche to make me believe that that's what celebration is all about, when actually celebrating or celebration should be you for making it another year through all the hell that we've been through with the pandemics, the sickness and things. And I have to tell people, I still mask up more than ever now. I still wear I mask up now. I put gloves on, everything like that, because regardless of anything, it's better to protect myself knowing that I was protected than not being protected. That's going to stick in it for somebody. But yeah, for this New Year's, I told myself that I'm not making any resolutions. I'm not making any promises. I'm not doing anything because I've already made promises to myself prior to the new year. I've been working on myself, and I just told myself that this year I'm going to be more consistent in what it is that I do. Been telling myself this last year, and to be more in tune with my business, which is Unapologetically Aware. And you can visit the website at unapologeticallyaware.godaddysites.com. We are relaunching. We relaunched, well, not so much relaunched, but did the Box Eater, and it's now Box Eater Classic, where I'm trying to take a more classic style approach to LGBTQ wear for mass presenting men and women. Notice I said men and women. Okay. Anywho, moving right along. So the new year, towards the end of the new year, it brought an awareness to me about friends, about family, how I see myself, and how I want others to see me. Now, notice I said how I want others to see me, not how others see me, or not how they portray me, but how I want others to see me. And I believe we should make this a standard for us. It's how we want others to view us. There's a saying that goes, and this is the correct way, you show somebody how you want to be treated by how you treat them. And the reason for that is because how you treat yourself is how you would like to be treated. How you respect, let's use that word, how you respect yourself is how you would like to be respected or treated or cared for. If you can care less about how you look, feel, or act, people will treat you as such. So whatever it is that you do it to show others how you want to be treated. You want respect, be respectful. You want peace, be peaceful. You want to be ghetto, hood rat, and ratchet, be ghetto, hood rat, and ratchet to the utmost. And I say this more than once all the time. My grandmother told me, and she's 96, still living. She said that whatever you do, be the best at it. Whether it's a lesbian, that's what she told me. She said, if you're going to be a lesbian, be the best damn lesbian that you can be. But whatever it is that you do, don't do it half-ass. Do it 100-fold. And it had me thinking so much on my friendships and relationships, and even as myself, on how I depict myself to be or view myself as. And I said to myself, I treat myself like everyone else treat me. And I treat myself as if I no longer exist or if I am not important. I treat myself like everybody else deserves to go first but me. And what I got in return was that selfishness, people continuously just putting me down and making sure that their needs and their cares get took care of first. And I'm here to let someone know, those of you who are listening and tuning in, is that it does not matter how long it takes you to get to where you need to be, to understand who you are as a person, as an individual, as the unique being that you are, as long as you do it consistently, as long as you learn through trial and error. There's no right or wrong, only an outcome. And it took me a while to come to that understanding, to notice that I would consistently beat myself up over the head because I said something wrong or I overthought something, and I'm thinking about what other people were thinking when I said it, and it came to me. And I know the last time I spoke on the last podcast, I said that the art of not giving a fuck is to give a fuck. And this is where you can use that not giving a fuck mentality. And how you use that is to not give a fuck what anyone thinks of you unless they're thinking how you think of you. I'm going to say that again. The only time that you should ever not give a fuck is when someone else is not thinking of you how you are not thinking of you. Yeah, it's mind-boggling, What I'm saying is that if a person thinks of you as less than you are, then you need to not give a fuck about that individual. Now, it's an oxymoron within itself, because in order to not give a fuck, you have to give a fuck to not give a fuck. I'm going to say that again. In order to not give a fuck, you have to give a fuck to not give a fuck. You have to have no fucks to give. But how do you know that you don't have any fucks to give? It's when you interiorize everything, you look inside yourself and you say, you know what? Yeah, this is just too much for me to bear. And I realized that so much, and I can go on talking about I'm a neurodivergent, I have ADHD, I have PTSD, OCD. I can say about all those things. But one thing that I can say is that I'm consistent and honest. And I can say, and this is what I'm talking about, I'm consistent in fucking up. I'm consistent in making up. I'm consistent in forgetting. Matter of fact, damn it, I'm just consistent in being an overall human being. I'm consistent in taking the good with the bad. And I'm consistent with just starting all over again. You see, consistency does not have to be something that helps develop trust between another person. But consistency should start with developing trust and understanding between you and yourself. Too many times do we put our trust in men when God himself said don't do it. He's not even a respecter of men. Basically, God is like, yeah, I don't give a care if you power bottom Jakes. I don't care. In my eyes, you still a human being. You're still my child. Whether if you're first, second, or third born, you're still who you are, not what you became. And it's just mind-boggling. You say, and I say this to myself all the time because I talk to myself because I am my own consultant. Thank you, Lil Wayne. And I always come to the fact of, and I was speaking with my woman the other day, my lady, and I said, you know what? I said, I'm mainly tired of caring about what people think. And I put so much emphasis into understanding and wanting to know what someone else thinks and how they feel. It's like I just don't care anymore because it takes too much energy. It takes too much out of oneself. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. I'm going to say that again. It takes more muscles for you to frown than it does for you to smile. Can you believe that? And going into this business, new and journeys with friends and family, one thing that remained consistent is the people. One thing that remained consistent that I look for, that I trust, is the emotions, the reactions, how people either react or how they respond in situations. Because let me tell you this, you can tell a lot about a person when they're in a certain situation and you look and see what their outcome is. Whether it's a struggle with money, a business, relationship, platonic or romantic, you look at that part of the consistency. You look at a person when they're at their lowest. You look at a person when they ran all out of options, and that person should still be consistent in what they are doing, because if consistency is key, it should show how that person is in their whole entirety. And one thing for sure and two things for certain for me, and I was telling my lady this again, I said I give myself 3 days. 3 days. I think the longest I went was maybe a month, but I now understand and consider that was a training, life learning lesson. But I give myself 3 days to mope, to go over, to self-talk, and to come out of it the third day bigger, brighter, better, and bold as shit. Because I know who I am. I know that I don't like to over-explain myself, and sometimes when a person is explaining their self, it's mainly because, and not always because they're lying or anything, it's because sometimes people aren't listening. People are not paying attention. They're not taking heed. They're not wanting to spend their time. They may be upset. And the one thing that plays in my mind all the time is when I heard an interview with Jay-Z, and he was speaking about his daughter, and he had rushed her into the car and he spoke to her in an ill manner that did not feel comfortable to her. And she sat in the back seat, and I guess she was looking a certain way. And Jay-Z had turned around and asked his daughter, what's wrong, what's going on? And she just, he either asked her, or it was a silence in the car. And she spoke up and said, I didn't like the way how you spoke to me. It wasn't nice, and I'm just paraphrasing. And it made Jay-Z sit and think on how to talk to people. How whatever's going on in your life should not reflect or bounce onto anyone else. Regardless on how you speak or you say things to people. The book of Corinthians, which we all should be well aware of, talks about that. It says in the book of Corinthians, and this is coming from 1 Corinthians 13, and I'm reading from the NIV version. It says that if I speak in tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. Now, I'm going to go down a little bit further, and this is what it is. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record. Listen to this. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices always with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. Love never fails. Now, I know you're wondering, why on God's green earth did I even read that portion of the Bible when speaking of this? What I'm speaking of is, we have to really ask ourselves, and I said this before in the last podcast that I had, really, what is love? And do we have the power to possess it? Or should we even have the power to possess it? Because let me tell you this, when it comes to love, it's a powerful thing. And it could be used for good or evil. And I know it says that it is not evil, but it can be used for it. And let me tell you this. Most of the time what we get mixed up or confused as human beings is we want to tell people how we feel. We want to give them a piece of our mind. We want to let them know just exactly where it is they can go and how long they can be there. And I, for one, would like to pose this thought. Just because you have the right to say it does not mean it needs to be said. Sometimes we can say things out of anger and allow our emotions to take control of us and not be in control of our emotions. There's billions and trillions of different ways for you to express how it is that you feel and how you can act that out. Sometimes not sometimes, but everyone has their own pitfalls and downfalls that they're going through. And the last thing that they need is someone to quote unquote saying that I'm just being honest and real, but there's a way to do it. There's a way to be tactful and not tactless or tacky, or what the word is, lack of tact. Sometimes what we think is the right thing can really be the wrong way and offset a person into a deeper, darker state of their life. Learn how to speak. Just because you have the ability to does not mean you have the right. I said that again. Just because you have the ability to does not mean that you have the right. Because it says you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be used against you. And that is true in human language. Because every word that falls out of your mouth, you have to pay account for. everything that you say and or do, you will have to pay